Good afternoon, everybody. It is Monday, June 26, 2 p.m. Eastern. So, when we last checked in, the bulls were in complete control of Bitcoin. We knew the move was for real when we got the falling wedge bull break, significant follow through, and then eventually we did get the bull break of 31,000. That being said, consolidation underway. We know it's inevitable, and we have to remind ourselves that consolidation is inevitable, because it helps us from panicking when things shift direction. We know that if this move is going to be longer term bullish, we have to see daily higher lows along the way. So in this video, we're going to check in on a couple of names, of course, but we're also going to talk about the ways that we identify whether consolidation is healthy or unhealthy. It's almost a checklist. It is a checklist that we can run down to have that information so we're not guessing. So we can look at the little pieces of the puzzle to get the complete picture as to whether this is healthy or not. And so, one of the first things that we look for, back burner bounces. Do we see short-term oversold conditions marking longer-term higher lows? And just a reminder, we have the TheChartGuys back burner indicator, not only in our Trader Pro alert system, but also just on TradingView itself. So I'll post a link for that for those interested, but you go to your indicators, you type in back burner, and we look at, okay, what back burners are Bitcoin firing off? So we go to the 15-minute, and we can see that we've had two 15-minute oversold back burners fire since we had this bull break. The first took place at 29.5, and that led to a new higher high with significant follow through. That's exactly what bulls want to see. The 4-hour higher low marked the bottom. I should say the 15-minute oversold marked the 4-hour higher low bottom of consolidation, and we then went up 6% plus from there. We then had it fire off again. Fired off again in the 30.2 thousands, and we ended up going plus 2% from there. Not as much follow through, but enough to position, ideally, break even or a small loss, worst case scenario. Now we've hit hourly oversold conditions. So did hourly oversold mark the daily higher low? At this point, we can say no. We hit hourly oversold, we bounced and ended up getting over 2% to the upside. Again, enough to be able to position. And in an ideal world, a bull would still have a position for that just by partial scale out. For example, let's say that triggers at 30.2 thousand and I enter 30,150 is my entry. All right, we go up a few $100. Ideally, a takeoff at least a little bit into that bounce because we then ended up getting into short-term overbought conditions. So the 15-minute RSI got up into overbought. And so let's just say I sell half after 1% of upside, $300. So in at 30,150, out half at 30,450. And again, that's not nailing the top and nailing the bottom. I'm trying to give realistic examples. And with fees and stuff, definitely that gets factored in as well. But we can say that break even at that point is then down to 29,850 minus fees. And so again, that leads to comfort. That leads to being in control of the trade. And at this point, we're hovering just around what break even would be for that. So not ideal. The ideal scenario for bulls would be hourly oversold and then continuation back up to the recent high of 31.4. So that's the first little check mark for the bears. Hourly oversold did technically result in a lower low. All right, so that's one thing that we watch for. Next, what we're watching for is retracement size. So retracement size on the daily from where we came from, nowhere near negating a bear flag right now. To negate a bear flag, I need a break of 28.8 thousand, which means we would need to drop $1,200, about 4% more from here. Let my dog out. So that's aligning with EMA 12. That's another factor. Oftentimes, EMA 12 aligns with bull flag retracement size. And again, if any of these concepts are over your head, we have a video on every single one of them. We have if you Google TheChartGuys back burner, video. Google TheChartGuys Fibonacci retracements, video. So EMA 12 is going to be my guide. And I can just say, if daily EMA 12 support is holding on Bitcoin, the bull flag is still possible. Volume, we're going to be keeping an eye out for. Increasing bear volume decreases the probabilities of a daily bull flag. Now you have to keep a number of things in mind for that. If you look at this chart, you're going to say the bear volume is increasing. That's a red flag. But you have to keep in mind that you're comparing it to the weekend, and the weekend is always having lower volume. So you got to compare it to the average. Look at the bull volume and look at the average. This is the 20-period average, this orange line, and we're going to be in line with average volume today. And it's going to be lower than the bull volume on the way up. So a bull wants to see declining bear volume compared to the bull volume on the way up, which is what we currently have. And we're going to be watching that EMA 12. So at this point in time, no major red flags on the current consolidation. There's also a lot of other things that we need to be paying attention to. We need to be watching the broader market. The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 just started their weekly consolidation. We've had a stair-step pattern. Another one, TheChartGuys stair-step. If you don't know what that is, Google the video. But we just broke the pattern of a higher low every week. After 2+ months, it broke bear. So weekly consolidation is underway. And you might say, well, Bitcoin has not been really caring about the broader market much recently. And that is the case, but it did matter today. Bitcoin had a break of short-term resistance and then completely turned around into bear action. Look at 10 a.m. So 9:30, this is when the stock market opens. 30 minutes of upside, and then bears take over. Look at the NASDAQ. There's the bell ringing. 30, 45 minutes of upside, bears take over. Bitcoin is definitely following along with what the NASDAQ is doing today. And so that's worth paying attention to because we had strength, complete shift into weakness, and Bitcoin did the same thing. And so with that, our crypto stocks did the same thing. MARA got right up to the high of Friday. It failed by 5 pennies and ended up dropping 12% from there. Riot broke the high of Friday, but only by 7 pennies and completely reversed. So right now, they have daily bull flags that confirmed with 0 follow-through, and they are showing weakness as well as the NASDAQ. So worth keeping an eye on to what the NASDAQ is doing. All that said, I'm anticipating a NASDAQ weekly higher low is the most likely scenario. It's just a question of how much consolidation do we see before that weekly higher low forms. So we'll be keeping an eye on the broader market, as always, with our end-of-day daily videos that we do on YouTube. But overall, no red flags for me on Bitcoin as long as EMA 12 is support. I did take some profit. I had an anti-FOMO swing position to go along with my anti-FOMO long-term no-touch position, and I took profit in the 31.3 thousands just because it was feeling euphoric. It's the only reason. Well, I mean, all the other reasons, overbought, RSI, extended, daily consolidation inevitable, all those reasons took some profit, and I ended up exiting 40% of that position. So now we consolidate, no big deal. Again, the mindset when you do partial positions, it's so easy to put yourself in a positive mindset. You can also put yourself in a negative mindset, so you've got to be in charge of that. We create our reality. So I sell partial at 31.3, and we pull back. I say, great, I've got capital to buy the dip for a daily higher low. If it kept going, great, I've still got 60% position. I have more net worth than I had yesterday. Some people would look at the negative side of that no matter what happened. They sell half at the top. Oh, I should have sold the whole thing. Why didn't I sell the whole thing? Why did I keep partial? Now we're dropping. And if they sell half and it keeps going, oh, why did I sell half? I should have kept the whole position. I'd have this much money if I did that. You choose which of those two mindsets occupies your brain space. And if you choose the positive one, you will prevent from negative spiraling of mindset. Do that with everything in life. There are so many times where we choose to look on the bright side or on the dark side. Choose to look on the bright side. It makes life so much better when you do that. So, healthy consolidation overall. We'll keep an eye out for 4-hour oversold conditions if we get there. If we do head to 4-hour oversold conditions from here, we will be pulling back more than the bulls want to see, because 4-hour oversold from here will be daily EMA 12 and potentially beyond. So bulls don't want to see 4-hour oversold happen in the near term here. Dominance chart is showing us that it is still Bitcoin leading the way. So Bitcoin led the way up, and now that we're consolidating on the daily, aside from yesterday, altcoins are dropping faster than Bitcoin. So we can look at this and say, all right, Bitcoin has been dropping for the last 4 hours. What's the dominance chart doing the last 4 hours? Going up. So that tells us the altcoins are dropping faster than Bitcoin on that consolidation, generally speaking. ETH, really nice sideways range here. Look at this resistance and support. This is where trading range bound works. So we set our high and we set our low. We then double top and double bottom, triple bottom. We held the 1860s 4 times, and we triple topped in the 1930s. And we finally broke bear. So we now have daily consolidation clearly underway. There's EMA 12. The biggest difference with Ethereum is we are not even breaking the weekly downtrend yet. Anything under 1929 is just a weekly lower high. And you could say, well, we did break it by $7, and I'd say, yeah, you're right, but certainly not convincing. Breaking anything by less than 1% in the crypto world doesn't count as a break for me. And ETH BTC, my guide is a 12-hour EMA 12. Again, as technical analysts, we want to identify something on the chart and say, the chart has been doing this for this period of time. Apple has been in a daily uptrend for over 3 months. When the daily uptrend is lost, it's going to stand out glaringly to us. ETH BTC has been in a 12-hour downtrend with 12-hour EMA 12 resistance for 2.5 weeks. So keep it simple. If EMA 12 is resistance on the 12-hour time frame, ETH BTC is in full bear control. When that changes, we'll say, oh, this chart is shifting. The character of this chart is shifting, and we're anticipating that ETH is going to have relative strength against Bitcoin for a bit more than we've seen in a long time. But that's not the case right now. We're testing the recent low, and the 12-hour EMA 12 is our guide. Couple of the volatile alt names, Pepe had a big time breakout, and we did see some laggard bull action over the weekend. Even out of our weaker coins, you look at ADA on the daily time frame, and we had, this little pop here, 20% move up. Link has been a weaker name. It saw a significant pop up, 20% plus. So we did get that one-by-one action where weaker coins did play a bit of catch up. And again, you got to watch the BTC pairings. Link BTC confirmed a 4-hour uptrend. At what time did Link BTC give that uptrend clue? And the answer is Friday at 2 a.m. Eastern. So what was Link USD doing Friday at 2 a.m. Eastern? It had not broken resistance yet. It was a clue. So here is what happened. Here's where we were trading when the BTC pairing gave the bull uptrend. And then we saw this action with volume and follow through. So again, there are clues in the BTC pairings, and you need to, in this environment where, in altcoin bull environments, when the dominance chart is weak, you throw a dart at an altcoin and it's just a matter of time before it breaks up. But in this current environment, it's a lot less of a probability that you're going to choose the right altcoin. So you've got to be picky. You got to be more picky, and you've got to use the BTC pairing as your guide. So we have been getting the one-by-one pops, and Pepe certainly did so. Pepe confirmed the first daily uptrend that we've seen since the all-time high. And from that point forward, the bulls poured it on. Because that signal, as far as the first daily uptrend confirming, then resulted in 69% to the upside in 4 days. Temporary top has been hit. Daily consolidation underway. here is where the momentum shifted to the bears. So bounce off EMA 12, new high, higher low, and there is your downtrend confirming. Remember, a head and shoulders is just an uptrend going to a downtrend. And so that's what we had here. Not a good looking one, but lower high, lower low. The bear break was at 15,688. And we haven't seen a lot of follow through yet. Bulls are hopeful for a bull flag. But if this is going to be a daily bull flag after inside bar, bear break, we have to see this downtrending support line hold. And actually, it's a bit more of a horizontal line, but let's keep an eye on this pattern into tomorrow. See if the bears are able to fall through this base of support or not. If we do, we're going to look for hourly back burner, first hourly oversold conditions, scouting the daily high or low. So here's our list. Ape bulls got their turn with a pop. Even, again, our weakest coins got the pop. Waves has been so weak. But look at that huge green day. Short-lived. Opportunity for bulls and bears. Just an insane move up. 82% in a matter of hours. And then from that point, we dropped down 30%. OMG. I don't know what's going on in my throat. OMG has been a lead bear. But it gets its pop. It's a mini short squeeze. We shoot up 52%. Great bull opportunity for if you're nimble. Great bear opportunity. 28% pullback. So keep an eye out for those little mini short squeezes. And if you miss it, scout bearish. Scout for a top to be set. And in this instance, some of these tops are marked by 5-minute stair-step patterns. High or low? Meh, that was not a good one. 15-minute stair-step pattern. High or low each candle, little volume climax, and then that's the high from that point forward. So with where we stand, we're scouting a Bitcoin daily high or low. We are not confident that it is shaping up at this point just yet. And we're paying attention to the altcoins whose BTC pairings are showing us some relative strength. Binance is showing us some relative weakness. So look at this bounce on Binance. Very weak. Go to the 2-day time frame, condense it down. Measure the retracement size on the bounce. Could this be a bear flag? Well, we rejected right off 382 and right off EMA 12, which aligns with it. We just looked at Bitcoin's 382 retracement on the daily, aligning with EMA 12 support. Here's the 2-day 382 retracement aligning with EMA 12 resistance, and it's a potential bear flag. BNB, BTC is all bears. Just consistent weakness versus Bitcoin. RNDR. Gotta be cautious of a weekly head and shoulders. Is this our right shoulder forming? If we confirm a daily downtrend, the answer is probably. So right now we're still in a daily uptrend. We've got a support at 193. And next bounce is going to be key here. Because if on the next bounce we confirm the daily downtrend, the probability for the weekly head and shoulders will increase significantly. And RNDR BTC is near its lows recently. So RNDR BTC is also watching for that head and shoulders, and it's showing us the relative weakness is remaining in play. So again, when I'm watching altcoins in this market environment, I care about the individual altcoin US dollar levels for establishing my trade game plan. For, determining my risk and reward, setting where my stop loss is going to go, identifying support and resistance. But in terms of which coins am I interested in, it's all about the BTC pairing. That's the most important thing. All right. So, I'm reading the chat room now. Thanks for the 33 likes. Everybody must have broken fingers today. All right. How does an alt with life liquidity with gaps increase their liquidity so they don't get the gaps? So traders like me want to trade them. So how do altcoins increase liquidity? You've got to have dollar volume and interest. So if only 2,000 people are trading a certain coin and 40,000 people are trading another coin, they're just not going to be comparable. And you also have to have market makers. So market makers provide liquidity. That's essentially their major function of supplying liquidity and fulfilling buys and sells. And so in the stock market, you've got tons of market makers on all the popular high volume stocks. And so you don't have, you've got market makers on Bitcoin, you've got market makers on Ethereum. They're popular, they've got high volume. It's worth it for these names to have big money involved because market makers can make their living through just taking pennies off the top. Just if there's a ton of volume and volatility, just give me the few pennies on every transaction. What's the movie where, they take a couple pennies left over from every transaction and then, it ends up being millions of dollars. They didn't anticipate it to work that well. Not Office Space, but something like that. Maybe Office, I don't know. Anyways, I think it's Office Space. Good movie. So the market makers, if they don't have that liquidity, they're not interested because there's no benefit to them. And so there's just no liquidity in the coin. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You give liquidity, you're going to have traders like me join in and add liquidity. So it's like liquidity compounds itself. And if there's a lack of liquidity, it's going to be really hard to get it. So you need a headline, you need a story that gets, retail's interest, and then retail brings in the money and the dollar volume, and then market makers get interested because there's enough retail for them to be skimming their pennies off the top. That's my story. Thanks, Commando, on Lake Patrol. How about Tesla? I'm not covering IIPR. I'm not covering stocks in this stream. I cover stocks at the end of every market day. I cover stocks in my morning live streams all day, every day. Was talking about the Tesla 4-hour head and shoulders today, which has now confirmed. Doing a public live stream tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern to show you what we do every day with our live streams. But again, I'm talking about stock. I've been talking about stocks today. It's 2 p.m. and I'm not exaggerating. Since 6 a.m., hour break, we'll call it a 2-hour break. So 6.5 hours I've been talking about stocks today. Now it's time for crypto. HBAR. So all I care about is HBAR BTC to give me information. And I can see that it is a lead bear. It's down, doing absolutely nothing for the bulls. So should I have interest in this coin? No, not at the moment. I should not be in this coin. I should be in Bitcoin. This chart is telling me you should be in Bitcoin instead of HBAR for the last 4 months. Now, can that change? Absolutely. But that's why we use trends as our guide. The trends will change and we'll say, okay, now it makes more sense to be a bull in HBAR instead of Bitcoin. It's more favorable. But if we just keep this downtrend going, if we keep rejecting from daily EMA 12, if we keep hitting fresh lower lows, the chart is telling us, don't be in this name, be in Bitcoin instead. So just keep it simple. If daily EMA 12 is resistance, the bears have absolute control of this name. MARA and Riot are looking for hourly lower highs to be the result of this bounce. If we confirm hourly downtrends from here, it's a red flag to see daily bull flags confirm with zero follow through. QQQ right now is a 15-minute bear flag shaping up. So still keeping an eye on broader market weakness. And there's been a notable shift in MARA and Riot this week. Last week, it was ignoring QQQ and following Bitcoin. This week, it's been ignoring Bitcoin on this bounce. Bitcoin, has been bouncing for an hour. It's not a big bounce, but we stopped going down for the last hour. And look at MARA and Riot. Well, the NASDAQ has been doing that as well. Not a good example, but there was points in the morning where Bitcoin was bouncing and these names were dropping to lower lows because the NASDAQ was. So I'm scouting hourly lower highs on MARA and Riot to be the most likely result of this bounce. And the big question into tomorrow will be, do we maintain the daily higher low from the end of last week? So 1114 is a must hold for MARA, and Riot already broke it. 1076 bear break on Riot, red flag. The Riot weekly chart, much weaker than MARA. Topped out, lower high, lower high. Is this another weekly lower high? Maybe. BTC. Down at the lows. A little bit of a bounce the last couple of days. So that's enough to get interest. So can we confirm an uptrend? When's the last time BTC has seen a clear daily higher low and higher high? A good old-fashioned uptrend. It happened here with zero follow-through. I mean, 2 1/millionths of a penny or whatever that is. 6 1/millionths of a penny. So nothing meaningful. When's the last clear daily uptrend? I mean, let's just go to the 2-day and condense it down a little bit. When's the last 2-day uptrend? It has not happened since February. So we are now 4 months with a 2-day downtrend. If we do not break 1762, it's just another lower high, and that will continue. So I can say to myself, okay, we have not had a 2-day uptrend in 4+ months. I know that if we see a 2-day uptrend from here, that will be a glaring signal to me that things are shifting. But until that happens, nothing is shifting. And DOT's another one where you're better off being in Bitcoin than DOT ever since November 2021. So again, we're in the market environment where you need to be very skeptical of altcoins, make them earn your capital. It's not just, I'll put my money in this coin. It's, okay, this coin has proved to me that it deserves my capital. It's almost like these charts are a sales pitch. The BTC pairing charts are a sales pitch for the coin to try and get your capital. And we can say DOT is certainly more developed on a bounce than many other names, but there's still a lot of work to do. Let's see if this ends up being an inverse head and shoulders attempt. XRD, BTC. So that's a notable shift. Look at the volume. Look at this bull volume here and compare back months. We have not seen that volume since we topped out. And we had 3 days of it in a row. So we look at the weekly chart. Look at the weekly stair step. The weekly stair step broke bull. The bull volume pours in. It tells us something shifting. And so we go to XRD, USDT, and we can see the big time bull move over the last week plus. So from here, a weekly equilibrium is the most likely scenario. We've got our low, high, higher low. Anything under the all-time high here on KuCoin is just a lower high. So I'm anticipating that we'll set that weekly lower high eventually and then just keep tightening up. The daily uptrend is our guide for when we are setting that weekly lower high. Right now, it's a daily stair step. When we break it, we're going to anticipate a daily higher low. But keep an eye out for when we lose the daily uptrend to tell us the weekly lower high is being set for a continued tightening range. Covered NVDA and Tesla all morning. NVDA short gave me my multi-day makers. Break of 420 was the go signal for the bears. STX, last one here. I've got to do some end of the day stock market streaming. STX. Okay, big bull move, breaking the lower highs. Great start. Daily higher low set. Great. Can we confirm the daily uptrend? Or do we resume bear control? So that's now a key support level on the BTC pairing for me. Down at 2338. And so looking at the US dollar pairing, that means the daily higher low key support 711. If we lose that level, we're right back into giving this move back into weekly consolidation. So watch that 711 level. If it's lost, zoom out. We will be scouting a weekly higher low, but that will tell us that the bulls have lost their short-term momentum. Bulls are trying for a convincing monthly higher low, and we will have to confirm a weekly uptrend eventually to have conviction in that monthly higher low. Again, watch for the dominance chart. If you are looking at any altcoins right now, you want the dominance chart to see weekly consolidation. The reason I am focused way less on altcoins is because the BTC chart, the dominance chart, gave us a signal that we have not seen in 2 years. It's telling us this is very significant. This has not happened in 2 years, and now it's happening. So I am patiently watching to see how long Bitcoin rides at the top of this move after that break. As I mentioned on the long-term time frames, I'm anticipating a 6-month lower high on this dominance chart. When alt season? Well, the next one for me will be when this 6-month lower high is set, anticipating that that does happen. That may be 3 months from now, 7 months from now, tomorrow. I don't know when it's going to be, but I have to see a loss of the daily uptrend. I have to then see a loss of the weekly uptrend shaping up. In my opinion, this 6-month dominance chart is going to tighten up into 2025, at least. And then when it breaks, it's going to give us massive amounts of information at some point in the future for those of us still alive. So, that also tells me this dominance chart could stay all bulls for the next year. Another 2 candles and still set that lower high. So I'm in no rush to jump into alts and to look for alt rotation. Again, there's opportunity in names, but as long as the dominance chart is not showing significant weakness, be quick with your altcoin profits as a bull. All right. Appreciate you watching. How do I enter a trade? Again, I've got 7,000 videos on YouTube, thousands of hours of content. That is, I could literally spend an entire week answering that question. So you've got to go through the content that's already been created, go through our YouTube channel, go through the beginners, intro to technical analysis, go through all the playlists that we have established. Again, how seriously do you want this? How seriously do you want to understand this stuff? I've got friends over the last 8 years, dozens and dozens have messaged me. Sure, here's all my courses for free. Do you know how many have followed through? I'd say 4%, a couple out of dozens. It's all right here. The information is here. Do you want to put in hundreds of hours taking notes, setting aside 2 hours every single day, 5 hours every single weekend, whatever you can that fits your lifestyle to actually do your best at this? If you want to be good at ping pong, you don't try for a couple of weeks and then stop. You have to make it your life's purpose. I made technical analysis and trading my life's purpose for years. And obviously you don't have to do that to understand technical analysis and to be able to benefit from it. If you want to do it full time, you do have to do it. But if you want to do it part time and to, add some cash and increase your net worth and things like that, You don't have to make it your full-time gig, but you've got to put in hundreds of hours. I can't take, it's the first question. How seriously do you want to take this? And if the answer is not, I am willing to put in hundreds of hours, then don't even put in 10 hours. It's just not worth it. So, long story short, take 100 hours and go through all of our YouTube videos, all of our educational YouTube videos, evergreen content that is still relevant. And shout out to those of you who have been doing that over the last 4 years. I know a lot of you watching me right now have been watching since 2017, 2018, and have put in the hundreds of hours. All right. Appreciate you all. And do good things.